Most pressing issue of our time. Should Hassan Piker go to Gaza or not? This is the latest hot button topic among all the dumbest people in the world on both sides. Both Hassan Piker for even bringing up this possibility in the first place, and all the morons who are like, oh, why did he change his mind? Why won't he go to Gaza now? So this all begins with Hassan Piker a couple of weeks ago bringing up this abominably stupid, incredibly naive and childish idea for reasons that I'm going to explain to you in a minute.
Now, I want to say this. I don't think that Hassan is naive and childish for wanting to go to Gaza, because people in Gaza were like, you should come, right? And he has connections with people in Gaza, right? And he is trying to support the people of Gaza. And I know he's covered it extensively, and I know he knows what's going on. And I think that he fundamentally underestimates the evil of the Israelis. Like, I think he understands they're evil, but they would kill you. Like, if Hassan actually got to Gaza, they would kill him. Hassan's contact just got killed since this video came out. So BadEmpanada is not wrong for saying that it's naive to go to. I wouldn't go to Gaza because they would kill me. It's not complicated. If I went to Gaza, they would murder me. Like, it's, you know, it's not a like, oh, maybe, what if? No, they absolutely 100% would murder me. Like, not like a, oh, you know, Mike's being paranoid. No, if I went to Gaza, Israel would bomb where I am at. That's it. They know what my phone is. They know how to identify me, right? They would bomb my phone signal. The IDF would 100% murder me. It's not even like it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. They've murdered multiple Americans. In press gear, not even in Gaza. They shoot them down. Rachel Corey, Shireen Abdul Apkla, they shot her in the head. Right in front, like they will kill Americans without a blink. And the CIA will do nothing about it. The American State Department will do nothing about it. Hassan covered this. Hassan knew all this. It was a long shot. It could only happen if there was a ceasefire, etc., etc. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's why when Hassan talks about security guarantees, he's not talking about being hurt by Gazans. He's talking about being murdered by Israel.
On whatever this is, like a dude.
And the Trump administration would celebrate it. Like, if I was murdered or Hassan was murdered in Gaza, the Trump administration would call us Hamas terrorist supporters who were, you know, aiding Hamas or whatever, aiding the terrorists, and say that our murder was justifiable. So when somebody says, oh yeah, Mike or Hassan or whoever, go to Gaza, they're basically saying, I want the IDF to kill you. But they're too bitch made to say it.
Bro, Jim Tan Laundry podcast.
Dude, I might actually take Marsh with me to Gaza.
You know who Marsh is.
Oh,
Gaza? Yeah.
Marsh, you can say no.
I already asked him. He said yes.
I'm not going to Gaza.
I was not asking you to go to Gaza.
Well, I don't like that I'm not invited now.
Okay, I think the main thing about this is when I saw this clip the first time, I have to admit that I didn't think it was a good clip. I love everybody in this video. No hate. I feel like Austin acted appropriately. I think Hassan was talking to these people about something that he was considering, and I think he let his guard down. He let his guard down, and I just don't think it was responsible to do that. That's it. It's a very minor critique.
I do kind of have a little bit of FOMO, Cutie and I.
This is such a fucking weird interaction. What the hell? Are...
Both.
We want to go to Gaza. What did you say?
BadEmpanada doesn't understand how connected Hassan, and his conclusion here is correct, but made on a faulty premise. I think Hassan should never have brought it up, but the real conversation between Al Jazeera, Jeremy Scahill, and Gazan journalists during the ceasefire, nothing less, But I don't hold it against BadEmpanada. I just wish he would investigate things he finds strange or out of character, as he himself points out in this video. Yeah, I think BadEmpanada thinks Hassan is like him. And he's not. Like, and with all due respect to BadEmpanada, but Hassan is not like you, man. Hassan does a lot more actual politics than you do. Now, I'm not saying that maybe you do a lot in Argentina, and I don't know. But I just don't think you really... I don't think BadEmpanada really gets it, right? Like, you know, BadEmpanada criticizes Bernie and AOC, rightfully. Hassan interacts with Bernie and AOC. BadEmpanada talks about how there's a genocide in Gaza. Hassan talks to the people in Gaza and asks them what he could do to help those people, and raises millions and millions of dollars, right? Like, BadEmpanada has good takes. Hassan has good takes, but he's also represents the largest leftists online, and he gets a quadrillion times the negative attention that anybody else gets. This is just true. This is not me glazing. This is just me stating facts, okay? Hassan is more connected with the pro-Palestine movement in America. He's more connected to the pro-Palestine movement in Europe. He's more connected to Gazans themselves and Palestinian liberation movements. That's just reality. So when Hassan is saying stuff like, I want to go to Gaza, it's not just something he's saying out of pocket. It is the reality of he's talked to international organizations and individuals high up in the Palestine movement, and he's doing it as a consciousness raising campaign. He's not doing it as a disgusting online influencer who's just trying to like make money off of the genocide. Okay. He is working with the people that are fighting the genocide and giving them as much help as he can. It's not the same thing as what you're doing. And yes, you know, it's very easy to criticize when you're not really that connected. And that's fine. And I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying this is a bad look, because I honestly do think this clip doesn't look very good. I don't think it was a good explanation of exactly how serious the topic was.
Damn, like it was a designer brand.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm working on it right now, but
This is like fucking talking about going to Auschwitz the way they're talking about it, man. Come on.
who knows what'll happen?
Is it dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hassan, seriously.
The dangerous part isn't actually the reason why he can't go to Gaza, by the way. It has almost nothing to do with it. I'll explain why once we go after the detractors.
So you should consider. I'm worried about you.
What an extremely weird interaction that was. That's just really weird. Anyway, so now Hassan's detractors have been responding to him.
But don't
because
you think
Hassan,
it's a U.S. citizen thing that you're virtually invulnerable with an American passport? That you think you're virtually invulnerable with an American passport? Not directly referring to Hassan, but sometimes read like that. Right? But there's a lot of people who wrongfully believe this dumb fucking take. I'm going to explain to you what this dumb fucking take is. The dumb fucking take is, it's like during BLM protests, when people would be like, white people to the front, white people to the front. The cops will not do anything to the white people. And then the cops immediately smash the white people. That's not how the world works, man. Like, it's a weird, like, oh, American passport holder, go to Gaza, you'll be safe. No, you won't. You believe in this like weird lib, anarcho lib shit, rad lib, where it's like, you have privilege, and that is like you think like a privilege analysis actually means that somehow the state will just bounce off of you, or the missiles will curve around you. They will not, especially if you're a left winger. None of the privileges apply if you're a left winger. Okay, if you're a leftist, you lose your whiteness. That's what happened in Nazi Germany. The white Catholic leftists were arrested and killed first. Like, leftism is the biggest threat to capitalism and the status quo and to the genocide. So it's just like nonsense. If somebody's a left winger, they lose whatever privilege they had when it comes to fighting the state. Believe the U.S. passport will protect you from Israel just so you don't know shit about this issue? Yes, exactly. It doesn't protect shit.
changed his mind. He doesn't want to go to Gaza anymore.
As a Palestinian American, I would like to remind members of the chat, the last time I was able to go to Palestine, I was told point blank by an IDF soldier that I had a literal gun to my face, that my American passport did not matter. And considering what has happened to Americans who have chosen to stand up for our rights, who have been murdered time and time again, such as Rachel Corrie, these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Exactly. Not only that, there were Americans in Gaza when Israel started to bomb it. There were American passport holders and European passport holders in Gaza who were trying to flee the fucking war zone, and they were stopped by Israel. In fact, I had a whole fight with John Fetterman about it because there was all sorts of Pennsylvanian Americans who were trying to flee Gaza, and he wasn't doing anything to help them. You guys, it's just wrong. It's just a stupid bullshit thought to think that being an Israelis don't care if you're American. American politicians don't care if you're American. If Israel kills you, they'll say sorry to the Israelis and give them another $100 billion. Did you see the leaked text between Vance and Hegseth about Yemen warplanes? I don't. Is there a actual source that's not an online thing?
So take a look at this first clip from Slop YouTuber, who no one knows why this guy's famous. Like, he makes videos where he plays video games and rants incoherently about saluting the troops and shit. Like, I have no fucking clue who this guy is, what he's famous for.
The Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans? Oh my god. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real, and then the bombs started falling. By Jeffrey Goldberg. Jeffrey Goldberg is probably one of the most virulent Zionists in all of American discourse. Of course, they accidentally added him. The world found out shortly before 2 p.m. Eastern Time on March 15th that the United States was bombing Houthi targets across Yemen. I, however, knew 2 hours before the first bombs exploded that the attack might be coming. The reason I knew this was that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, texted me the war plan at 11:44 a.m. The plan included precise information about weapons packages, targets, and timing. The Chinese are currently installing a fucking packet sniffer on his phone right now as we speak. This is going to require some explaining. David from Anti-Applebaum. Oh my god, dude. The Atlantic is so bad, dude. The story technically begins shortly after the Hamas invasion of southern Israel on October 20th, 2023. The Houthis, an Iran-backed terrorist organization whose motto is God is great, death to America, death to Israel, curse on the Jews, victory to Islam, soon launched attacks. So look at how much like preamble. Look how much preamble we have to get into. How many times do you think Jeffrey Goldberg told you the motto of Jewish power? This guy's Jewish power. The Jewish Power Party. The Jewish Power Party. The ultra-nationalist, anti-Arab, and far-right, and has been described as racist. Jewish supremacist and Jewish fascist group. It calls for the annexation of the West Bank and complete Israeli rule of the land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. Advocates cancellation of the Oslo Accords and is against the formation of a Palestinian state and for imposing Israeli sovereignty over the Temple Mount. Itmar Ben-Gvir. Oh wow, look at that. It's in the government. Itmar Ben-Gvir. How often do you think the Atlantic goes and explains the Jewish Power Party with the same level of preamble? What do you think? Fucking dumb fuck. Okay. Sudan launched attacks on Israel and on international shipping, creating havoc for global trade. You mean attacking Israeli ships and ships bound for Israel? Is that what you mean? Trump coordinated the Houthi strike via Signal chat, which of course leaked. If we think you should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out again. Let's just make sure our messaging is tight here. And if there are things we could do up front to minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. VP, I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. But Mike is correct. We are the only ones on the planet, on our side of the ledger, who could do this. Nobody else even close. Question is timing. I feel like now is a good time as any, given POTUS's directive to reopen the shipping lanes. I think we should go, but POTUS still retains 24 hours of decision space. As I heard it, the president was clear. Green light, but we soon make clear to Egypt and Europe what we expect in return. We also need to figure out how to enforce such a requirement. E.g., if Europe doesn't remunerate, then what? If the U.S. successfully restores freedom of navigation at great cost, there needs to be some further economic gain extracted in return. Agree. In other words, America is being a mercenary for Egypt and Europe to attack the Houthis and, of course, Israel. The reason why they're talking about Egypt here, chat, is that the Red Sea leads to the Suez Canal, which is a major source of revenue for the Egyptian fascist government that we support. And so when the Houthis have been attacking Israeli-bound and Israeli-linked ships in the Red Sea, and that has significantly cut down on the canal fees that Egypt has been able to collect, because ships are now detouring away from the Red Sea and the Suez Canal around the Horn of Africa. And so that has, that hurts Egypt. So Egypt is crying like, well, we can't get our canal fees. Do the genocide, but what about our canal fees? Amazing.
Or just another example of the like randomness of getting big on YouTube.
All right, they're above the whole drama side of the internet because I guess they're covering like politics. I've never actually seen any form of political action. I've never seen any canvassing done by this guy.
Just to know, I don't exactly understand how exactly canvassing for like a Democratic Party candidate would possibly ever be more effective politically than speaking to like hundreds of thousands of people about politics. Like you go to some fucking grandma's door and try to tell her not to vote for Trump. How is that possibly a better use of your time as someone with a platform that gets to hundreds of thousands of people than just talking to those hundreds of thousands of people? What a fucking dumb thing to say.
I'll actually go as far as to say it like this. I will, on my own dime, pay for both of... How about this? At my own dime and my own expense, and like, I'll give up my days of work and making serious money. I will fly both of us down.
Like you wouldn't make a ton of money from something like this.
Both me and him to Israel, and we will drive across the border and like actually, do some real journalism on our own. I will pay for all of it myself, okay? I will do it on my dime. I will get them there, and that's it. Simple as that. That's my offer that I put up there, okay?
So this is genuinely just insane, just on the face of it. We're going to get to like other reasons in a second. So the first reason is that Hassan Parker would never be allowed into Israel. Not just into Gaza. He would never be allowed into Israel. Israel constantly refuses entry to anyone for the most banal of political reasons, even if they don't know who you are, and they do know who you are. If you are at all like even slightly prominent on social media, they already do.
I want you to understand something, chat. This isn't just BadEmpanada speaking out of turn. And I tried to get Hassan to show you this, but Ilhan Omar is banned from Israel. Rashida Tlaib are banned from Israel. Rashida Tlaib has family members in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. I believe Rashida Tlaib wanted to visit her family. I think either her grandmother or her mother or somebody was dying. Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar banned from visiting Israel. They would 100 quadrant 1,000%. First of all, I would not go to Israel, period. I would not go to Israel, period. With the fascists they have in power now, I think going to Israel would be personally suicidal. Israel's denial of the entry to Congresswoman Tlaib and Omar is a sign of weakness and beneath the dignity of the great state of Israel, Pelosi wrote. If you want to understand how the Democrats believe, this is...
I have said to people when they ask me, if this Capitol crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid, and I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel. That's fundamental to who we, to...
If the American Capitol building fell to the ground, the one thing they would continue is their aid to Israel? This is the party people want you to stay in, by the way. And when she chose that imagery very intentionally, because the Capitol building of the United States of America represents it is the ultimate symbol of the United States. It represents our country, right? It's existed. So if the Capitol building is aflame or is destroyed, she's saying the United States should fall, and she would still support Israel. That's what she's saying. She's saying if all you fuckers died, she'd still be spending money on Israel. You should take her at her word.
You know who you are. We'll get to that in a minute. If they have any reason to suspect you, like you have, say, an irregular beard, you look sort of Muslim, you have a Muslim-sounding name, they will take you aside and go through your phone for 12 hours to make sure you don't, like, follow anyone who they have on their list of no follows or anything. And if they find something there, you'll be refused entry. So someone like Hassan Piker, who is like a prominent streamer, millions of people know who he is, he would not be allowed entry into Israel, fucking obviously. Into Israel in the first place. Not even talking about Gaza, into Israel. You would very probably not be allowed into Israel because you're Muslim. Though given your pro
By the way, even if the Egyptian crossing was open, at this point, with the level of fascism that Israel has demonstrated, you wouldn't be safe in Egypt either.
Israel propaganda videos that you've made lately, perhaps they would give you the grace of letting you in. You'd certainly at least get harassed at the border, though, just for your name and for being brown. Israel even refuses entry to basically anyone. Like, look at, like, Norman Finkelstein was refused entry to Israel. Norman Finkelstein is a two-status, by the way. Jewish two-status, refuse entry to Israel. Not just refuse entry, but detained for like 24 hours before being deported. They don't just refuse you entry, they detain you and like psychologically torture you for a while before they deport you. Noam Chomsky was refused entry to Israel. Again, Chomsky is a two-status. Recently, just like search denied entry to Israel. You'll find even EU lawmakers denied entry to Israel.
Who do you think is who do you think is running the Israeli embassy of America, like America's Israeli embassy? Do you think you're going to find a lot of allies in the American embassy to Israel?
Sent there as part of an official delegation by the EU, which is literally an Israel-supporting polity, denied entry for criticizing Israel. Now, this is Israel proper. Israel proper is obviously, even aside from the fact it's obviously all occupied, it's an incredibly important tourism destination and religious destination because Israel occupies a ton of, ancient religious heritage and stuff like that many people want to see for whatever reason, religious or tourism or otherwise. And they constantly...
Like there's this one CIA agent who goes around and talks about Israel. And this story that I heard was so fucking wild. I was like, maybe I should show this to chat. We'll see.
I never met anybody at the CIA who was pro-Israel. Never.
Not one.
Not a single person. And it's because they make it so hard to like them. You know, if we're supposed to be their best friends, we have this special relationship. Well, I'll tell you the same story I told Danny Jones. I worked with this guy for years, and he married a woman in the office. And when I was going out to Bahrain on my rotation to the State Department, the wife was going out to Jerusalem because she got the same rotation to the State Department. So because she had worked with the Israelis for many years, the station decided to declare the two of them to the Israelis. So they land and they go straight to Mossad, and the chief said, these are my officers. She's on rotation to the State Department, and he's just going to study Arabic at the University of Tel Aviv. So they're there for a little while. They go to a party at the ambassador's residence, and they come home, and all of their living room furniture had been rearranged. And they're like, not cool. But this is what the Israelis do. They break in the house, they rearrange all your furniture just to say, fuck you, we can do anything we want. They're there, working, months pass, they're having a good time. They go to the ambassador's Christmas party. Now, they're living in Jerusalem. The embassy at the time was in Tel Aviv. And so it's about a 30 or 40-minute drive to get from one city to the other. They come home at the end of the party, and people had taken shits in all of their toilets in their house. Every toilet had shit in it. Not cool. They're not doing anything. They're not working against the Israelis. They're just doing normal stuff. He's studying Arabic. She's just in the embassy's, economic section. And then when their tour was over, 2-year tour, the ambassador threw a going away party for them, which is a normal thing. And they get back to the house, and the dog is under the dining room table whimpering because somebody had cut the dog's tail off, and they wrapped it with gauze and with medical tape. Why would you do something like that? What do you hope to gain, except to make us hate you? If you're trying to win friends and influence people, that's really not the way you're going to want to go. So now here are these people who, if anything, were, moderately supportive of the Israelis, who came home only with bitterness and hatred toward the Israelis for this harassment that lasted for 2 years.
Yeah. The greatest way to get people to support Palestinians is to introduce them to Palestinians. The greatest way to make people not like Israel is to have them meet Israelis.
Deny people entry.
By the way, like, if somebody cuts your dog's tail off maliciously like that, legitimately, I would be murderous. I'm not saying that it's like, it should be legal to kill someone for cutting your dog's tail off. But in the moment, I would feel that way. Like, absolutely just depraved, by the way. It's just depraved. That's an evil act. The rearranging furniture, the shitting in the toilets, that's disrespectful, but ultimately harmless. Torturing a poor animal for no fucking reason, that's insane. That's actually insane.
Purely political reasons. Now, Israel also controls the border to Gaza and the West Bank, and the conditions for entry there are even more stringent than those for Israel itself. Just last year, for example, a fairly unknown British activist of the Green Party was denied entry to the West Bank from Jordan. He was detained for 5 hours as border officials...
From Jordan, by the way.
Officials, went through his phone, violating his privacy, while he was in the room with them, by the way, holding the phone up to him and screaming at him constantly. And he's actually not even Muslim. He's Hindu. He's not a part of any sort of anti-Israel organization. He's a part of an anti-Modi organization, that's all. And he was denied entry into the West Bank by Israel. This is not even someone who's very well known. None of you have ever heard of this person. He's not even a Green Party, MP or anything. He's just a candidate. No one fucking knows who this guy is. He was denied entry into the West Bank by Israel. Hassan Piker is not going to be allowed into Israel or the West Bank. And I haven't even gotten to Gaza yet. We haven't even gotten to fucking Gaza. Israel has not let any foreigners into Gaza aside from humanitarian or medical staff for the entire duration of the genocide. No one. The only journalists who have been allowed into Gaza are embedded with the IDF and given like a chaperone tour of what the IDF wants them to see. This fucking moron's like, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. All I need to do is pay for it. You can tell these people know nothing about the world, because in no world where someone knows fucking anything would they ever say something like that. Israel literally has an outright ban on foreign journalists entering Gaza. Outright ban. Only very few are allowed to enter, and it's with the Israeli military, okay? That's why almost all reporting comes from Palestinian journalists. Because they were there before the genocide began. They're the only ones who can report. And
did you see that the IDF was literally inviting settlers to come watch them rape Palestinians? Has Ethan Klein ever covered the UN report about how Israel uses rape as a systemic weapon? Like, has he read the UN report? Like, he talked about how people were rape deniers for saying that there was nobody who claims to have been raped on October 7th themselves that has come forward. And there's no forensic evidence that's been provided to prove that accusation. That's just a statement of fact, by the way. It doesn't mean that some sexual assault never happened anywhere. It just means there is absolutely no evidence. So if you have no evidence for something outside of like the testimony of far-right Israelis who have an incentive to lie, where is but you have no victims and you have no forensic evidence. What is going on here? What is going on here? But we have video and photographic evidence of Palestinians being raped, men and women, including a Palestinian orthopedic surgeon who was raped to death, a civilian doctor who was kidnapped and raped to death in a torture camp. Like, this is a UN report. Has Ethan Klein talked about that on his stupid fucking show of fucking morons?
And we're going to get into what happens to them soon and what happens to foreign aid workers. Now, if you're a foreign aid worker in Gaza, you're just as much risk as the Palestinians are of being killed. In just a year, 300 aid workers were killed. There were multiple attacks on convoys, very targeted attacks. They literally directly targeted World Central Kitchen aid convoy at one point. Let me show you the picture. That's a nice little precision strike, isn't it? Being a foreigner in Gaza, even if you somehow manage to get in, does not protect you. Now,
look at how they hit the World Central Kitchen logo. What a precision strike.
Just the notion of even being able to get in is impossible.
Ethan banks on the premise that everyone believes that Israel is only doing horrible stuff because they have to fight terrorism. Talking about pro-rape protests would blow a hole in that premise. The idea that Israel is just doing what they need to do to fight terrorism is laughably stupid. When they side ceasefires and a bunch of hostages get released, and then they go and fight a war, killing a bunch of kids and rescue 0 hostages, it seems pretty clear that diplomacy is the way to peace. Recognition of Palestinians' rights to exist. He talks about Israel having a right to exist. What about the Palestinians having a right to exist? I mean, it's just crazy. And because of our support of Israel, we're now supporting a dictatorship in Saudi Arabia, dictatorship in Jordan, a dictatorship in fucking Egypt. We're supporting a fucking Al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria. Like, I mean, when is it going to end? How many evil dictatorships do we need to support so that Israel can exist?
Possibly naive. And Hassan, it's embarrassing for Hassan that he even...
Mike, I would like to hear your opinion on that. I don't think the current situation in the U.S. is comparable to Nazi Germany. The Nazis worked for years to dismantle governments and so on. The Trump administration is 2 months in and destabilizes everything. We as an Austrian, it is similar cruelty and inhuman behavior, but nevertheless different, especially if we include the situation of war in Gaza. It is so different to me. What do you think about that? I think that different situations are different, but they obviously are related. The United States has outsourced its genocide to Israel, which is our fucking puppet state, but we're still doing it. And the United States has only begun to start targeting internal enemies, beginning with the most marginalized ones where they could use legal formalism to attack and claim a fig leaf of legal precedent or legal justification. So, like, yeah, it's like, how would you have thought about Hitler in July of 1933 versus Hitler in 45? There was an escalation that had to go on. So yeah, I think Trump is a fascist. I think Trump is a vulgar fascist, dumb fuck, but he has built a fascist movement around himself.
Put forward that possibility. He's not getting into Israel, let alone fucking Gaza or the West Bank. You've been covering this shit for like 6 years now. You were like, what? How'd you even come up with that idea? I think you made a big mistake there.
I think honestly, the answer to this is, and this may surprise BadEmpanada, I think Hassan as Piker is actually incredibly brave. I think Assad was like thinking, well, you know, I might go to Gaza even though it's risky because of how important it is, assuming you were able to get to some sort of like permanent ceasefire regime where it would be, you know, not the middle of the bombing campaign. And I think there was a little bit of a naive hope that that might be imminent. I don't think he would want to be the only foreign journalist in Gaza, right? Like maybe he would go with CNN journalist or a CNBC journalist or whatever the, not CNBC, but NBC journal. You get what I mean, right?
Hassan would never be allowed into fucking Israel, and that this guy, who by the way his name is Some Ordinary Gamers, what the fuck does that mean? You're multiple gamers, Some Ordinary Gamers, what the fuck kind of a name is that? I thought my name was bad, and it's unlikely that he would be as well, though Israel keeps tabs on everyone's social media like usage and stuff. Basically any prominent person, they know who you are, they have like notes on you, things that you've said about Israel, and if you try to enter, they go over those notes and they probably will deny you. If he said anything even remotely anti-Israel, he's gone. There's no chance, especially because he's Muslim. But there's people who go beyond that and who apparently don't even have the brain power to think about the fact that obviously he's not going to be allowed in ever, not just because he's not going to get into Israel, but also because they don't fucking let foreigners into Gaza. But even if he was allowed in, you know, it's a fucking active genocide. What do you think would happen? Well, don't worry, because Ethan and Hila Klein are on the case to let us all know about how Hassan Piker should apparently enter Gaza, which is a thing that they keep putting forth as even possible, but that if it were possible, that's like a death threat. Go to Gaza? That is just straight up a fucking death threat. But look at these fucking morons, what they say. Why does he look like this? What is this hair? Just get the Harley and get divorced already. You're already there. Ethan, buy the Harley Davidson. Get like a custom brown poop Harley Davidson. That'd suit you. Get divorced. Start driving around. Begin the midlife crisis. You're already there, dude. You're there already. Stop delaying.
Ongoing joke we've had on the show. Hassan was like, I'm thinking of going to Gaza. And then the guy on TikTok was like, he's actually...
You would much rather spend your time going after someone who is actually considering genuinely going to Gaza.
Now, this is funny, and everybody knows it. This is what
I would say about Ethan. Like, I gotta be honest with you, chat. Ethan Klein just strikes me as one of the most profoundly unhealthy people I've ever seen in my entire life. He can't get through a sentence without sniffling and coughing up a lung. Like, what is going on? He does not look well. I guess he must have dyed his hair for money, right? There's no way he thinks that looks good, right? He made money off of that. But his chat like paid for him to dye his hair, right? Like there's no fucking way that he thought this looked good. Yes? Okay, that makes sense.
where it came from. And I'm just showing the stolen valor that he's trying to claim. So
stolen valor? What the fuck does that mean?
This is from his subreddit, people glazing him up. He's thinking of going to Gaza.
Dude, I might actually take Marsh with me to
The clip that
Gaza.
we already watched, obviously.
Oh,
Gaza?
But these people react to it in like a way that makes literally no fucking sense. Like, no one involved in this even thought of the fact that no one who is even remotely anti-Israel is ever going to be allowed to get into Gaza. Ever. Let alone fucking Israel. Certainly not Israel. Certainly not Gaza.
Did you say Gaza? No.
You can say no.
I already asked him. He said yes.
Marsh, are you serious? Look,
I'm not going to Gaza.
I was not asking.
This segment, they call it Hasafir.
Oh, that's crazy.
Hassan, seriously, you should consider.
I also was.
Okay, so here's Hassan. He's back. He's all like, yeah, no, guys. And here he look at all the kudos he's getting on his subreddit. The most recent fear.
I love this for Ethan. Like, I was talking to people the other day, and I was just like, I love this, man. I love this for Ethan. I love this for Ethan because, like, he now has a reason to live. Right? Like, now that he's lost Hassan as a friend, he probably was feeling like he had no reason to live. And now he does, which is to go, somebody is giving Hassan kudos. It's not fair. And honestly, like, I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for you. The #1 Hassan, anti-Hassan podcast, but also too stupid to actually do substantive anti-Hassan shit. It's like, one of the things I've noticed about Ethan and Destiny as well is the way they talk about Hassan, which is like, they say he never debates their points, but then they never offer up a point that they disagree with and then the refutation of it. It's like, Hassan has countless hundreds of hours of him talking about politics. Why don't you, like, take some points and, you know, take them in good faith. What is Hassan's actual position? And then debate against it with your points. They can't do it. They can't treat Hassan with good faith and then refute his arguments. That's a sign that your argument is bad, by the way. If you can't take the other side's argument in good faith and then refute it, that means your argument is not good. That was your chance to short? Yeah, I saw this. There was the stocks are doing good today. This was like one of Tesla's best ever days. Don't they have like a quarterly report coming up? Smart score. What's the smart score? Tesla will likely underperform the market over the next 12 months. Blogger sentiment and company fundamentals. Company fundamentals? What? The fundamentals are terrible. Do I own stocks? I currently don't own any stocks. But that's more of a investment choice than like, I just don't think that I think the markets are overbought and we're heading towards a recession. And so I'm looking for capitulation before I go back in. I feel like, now I'm not trying to time the market too much. I just feel like when we actually officially enter negative growth for a quarter and the stock market starts to really eat shit, then I'll buy in. But maybe I'm too early and waiting on that. But I think there's a recession heading our way. Despite the hate, Model 3 and Y and their charging network are super solid. Everything else is... I agree with you completely. I think the Model Y and the Model 3 are fine products. And I think the supercharger network is the best charging network in America, which is by far and away the best asset that Tesla has. I agree with you completely on that. The problem is that Tesla, the true market value of that would be like 1/10 of what the stock is trading at. If the company was worth 80 billion, then I would be like, hell yeah, that's a good company. But it's worth 900 billion. Okay, anyway, back to the BadEmpanada shit.
Fear and Hassan mentioned possibly going to Gaza.
Model 3 and Model Y are still low quality vehicles. I don't know about that. Especially after all the price cuts. Like I think you might be thinking of the Model Y from like 3 years ago or 2 years ago. But with the price cuts, because no one's buying Teslas, like then I think it's a good value. The problem is that it can't compare to like the competition that's coming. The competition just blows it out of the water. Like the only reason why Tesla has a chance of succeeding in the U.S. is because BYD is not allowed to sell cars here. If China had been allowed to sell cars in the U.S., it would be game over for the rest of the world's auto markets, or auto companies, by the way. Like, literally. If China had been allowed to sell cars here, it would have been GG for Europe and American auto manufacturers. It would have been over. Like, literally over. Like, completely over. Like, Ford, GM, Stellantis, BMW, Volkswagen, they're all fucked if BYD had been able to sell. Chinese electric automaker BYD will launch a compact SUV in France at 28,000 euros. I like literally might buy this for like Vio's mom. Like honestly, like Jesus Christ, like this is crazy.
And it seemed pretty serious about it. Has this been discussed before? My God, you guys. Oh my God, you guys.
I just want to note, like, the background noise in this show, how the fuck is that even possible? They have 20 employees. Listen to the fucking mic noise.
You have no
what
idea
is
what
this?
you're talking about. What do I not know about? What am I wrong about? Waiting. The Ford CEO agrees with me. Like the Ford CEO agrees with me. I don't know what to say. Like, I guess my opinion is not just based on my own analysis. It's based on what other people who know what they're talking about say. If you're reading this, it means I have been killed, most likely targeted by the Israeli occupation forces. When this all began, I was only 21 years old, a college student with dreams like anyone else. For the past 18 months, I have dedicated every moment of my life to my people. I documented the horrors in northern Gaza minute by minute, determined to show the world the truth they tried to bury. I slept on pavements, in schools, and tents, anywhere I could. Each day was a battle for survival. I endured hunger for months, yet I never left my people's side. By God, I fulfilled my duty as a journalist. I risked everything to report the truth, and now I am finally at rest. Something I haven't known in the past 18 months. I did all this because I believe in the Palestinian cause. I believe this land is ours. It has been the highest honor of my life to die defending it and serving its people. I ask you now, do not stop speaking about Gaza. Do not let the world look away. Keep fighting, telling our stories until Palestine is free. His dreams were to kill the... Look at these fucking freaks. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Listen to you can hear, like, it's like 20 fucking decibels, dude. What are they in a fucking air tunnel?
This is the joke. It's very funny. And so now here he is trying to listen to how he's trying to frame this now.
You know what he probably realized? He can't go. He can't get into Israel. He certainly can't get into fucking Gaza either. I think it's a pretty bad idea to put yourself at the mercy of Israeli border guards by flying to Israel for the off chance that they somehow won't know who you are as like a guy with 1 million followers who's anti-Israel.
Dark ass loser.
Oh my god, how does this guy get on saying
Initially-
this shit?
Ethan and Gila apparently have been talking about like sending me to Gaza.
Okay, like, please give me a fucking break,
what?
bro.
Yeah,
No, but
that's
this
what
is
they've
what he
been
does with
saying.
everything.
They have been
He does-
obsessed with it. Like, they want him to go there because obviously they fucking know what happens to you if you go to Gaza. These people know what happens. If someone somehow was to get into Gaza, they would be the highest chance of dying in the least amount of time in the world. You go to Gaza because Israel bombs everything and everyone there. They don't care if you're a foreigner. They don't care if you're Palestinian. All they care is that you're there and they want you dead. So it's a death threat.
With everything. We're joking about how...
Go to Gaza is no different to saying go to Auschwitz in 1944. It's no different to saying get in the oven. That's what they're saying to him. Go and die with the other subhumans. That is what they're saying.
He's a coward. He got all the credit in the world for thinking...
Like he ever had a chance. He's a coward. Doesn't want to get bombed in a precision strike by Israel. I mean, do you?
Thinking of going to Gaza, but then when he found out he couldn't
I
get
haven't seen this yet.
Well, it's new.
Oh my God! It says literal war criminal terrorist Gila Klein, the baby terror.
Oh no, Gila is fixated on Hassan. Comparing terrain and weather conditions, road conditions between here and China, their vehicles aren't up to par. Are you talking EV or internal combustion? I'm saying there's no chance of success for the EV, specifically emission in other similar climates. Teslas don't fare well, nor Rivian. Sorry for the long wait. Not trying to argue. You've been a crucial part of my political wake up. I feel like you're a China simp sometimes. Here's what I would say. China's weather is very similar to the United States. Actually, I would say it might even be harsher. If there's any country in the world that could produce vehicles that will have gain the engineering an iteration and experience, it's China. They have a western desert. They have, you know, coasts assaulted by typhoons, aka hurricanes. They have cold winters. They have a large country, like for long range driving, similar to the US. There's like no country in the world that's more similar to the United States than China. Like as far as a lot of shit goes, actually. In a just world, China and the United States would probably be the closest allies. But unfortunately, we live in the hell world. So, I'm not saying that the electric vehicle has been perfected. But if there's any country that's closer to perfecting the electric vehicle, then it's China over any other country.
Rise of Gila Klein.
This happened. March 17. It happened 4 days ago.
I was excited he finally remembered my name, but then
She was excited. Excited. That's an interesting. Man, her eyes are bright. She's got a big smile. She's excited. I see a little bit of a blush. Can you guys see it? A little bit of a blush. Right there. Do you see it? She's swooning for Hassan. Uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable.
Did he forget?
Wow.
What's her name?
he never says my name.
He should just call you the terrorist wife. That's what you are.
But
yeah, he doesn't like to.
That's the most excited she's ever been in her life. Hassan Piker said my name.
See, it's not just me. It's not just me. BadEmpanada season 2. It's uncomfortable. Like, I'm actually uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable right now. Ugh.
You said you'd pay for it last time we were talking about it.
Who said they pay for it?
AB is such a ugh. Like, AB is mad at me, and he's mad at Hassan, and he's mad at Denims, because he's really mad at himself. And, like, I get it. I wouldn't want to give up my easy fucking job where I didn't have to do shit and was responsible for nothing. Like, I get it. Like, me, I have my own show. This is something that AB doesn't understand. Like, I will live or die based on how I perform and whether you guys support me or not. I'm completely responsible for myself. I have no safety net. I don't have a boss. I don't have a bunch of other people to take care of me. I'm 100%. I will rise or fall based on whether you guys support my channel or not. You could say I am a radical individualist, small business owner, successful under capitalism. AB isn't that kind of guy. Okay, AB is, he's a flunky, which is basically somebody who's hired to make somebody else feel important. You know, he is the guy hired to listen to two virulent Zionists justify the genocide of Palestinians. And he has to sit there and take it. He has to sit there and help. Now, I have a question for you, chat. If Mossad was looking at the fight between Ethan Klein and Hassanabi, who do you think Mossad would side with? And I think that's pretty much, you're on the side of Mossad, AB. You're on the side of the IDF. I don't care what your personal opinions are. I'm talking about the work you do day in, day out for a living. You are, and this is no exaggeration, literally selling out your own people. That's sad. Me personally, I couldn't do it. I would rather move in with a family member and get a minimum wage job than a Rolex to fight for Mossad. I would literally rather like lose everything than be a little pissant defender of the genocide. And I'm just a white guy from Pennsylvania. I mean, my God. He was the head of the Arab unit at his school and had to fight Islamophobia. Now he helps produce it. Wild how the world turns. That's capitalism, baby. If you're willing to sell it, capitalism will buy it. That's sad. It's very funny because people sometimes attack me. They're like, Mike used to be a conservative and he's grifting the left. And it's like, motherfucker, if I was a grifter, I would be working for the Democrats right now in Pennsylvania. Right now. I would be part of some disgusting machine right now. The reason why I'm here is because I didn't sell out. I'm not somebody who was making fart jokes in Denny's or being a failed semi-pro StarCraft streamer who fell ass backwards into fucking politics. I was in it and I decided to go with the Bernie Sanders movement and the left. And I said no. I said no to the sellout offers that I was given. I pissed off the people that have power. I've already been offered anything there's no so like I have these positions and it's harder for me because of the positions I have, not easier. I'm not a red diaper baby. I wasn't raised by socialists. I had to come to the positions I have on my own, which is part of why I'm successful, because I understand how regular people think and I understand my own journey and I know what arguments made sense to me and what changed me, what experiences changed my worldview, how I transitioned from being a philosophically interested kid to an actual political actor. And the fact that AB is participating in this stalking of Hassan, and I don't understand, and me as well, right? And the character assassination of me, the character assassination of Denims, the character assassination of Frogan, the character assassination of a bunch of other innocent people. And here's the thing that really disgusts me. And this is the thing, and this is why I don't like him. And I'm going to be honest with him. If AB had just reached out and said, I can't do this anymore, but I need your help to make my own show. Do you know how much love he would have gotten? Do you know how many people would have rushed to support him? Do you know how many people would have boosted him up and build him a show that probably would make him even more money than he's making now? But instead of doing that, he stuck his dagger at all of our backs. He stuck a dagger at our backs for the safe choice of remaining Ethan Klein's sidekick. Actually, he's not even the sidekick. He's like the sidekick of the sidekick. Really makes me sad, dude. And at this point, is it even viable? I mean, if AB tomorrow quit on stream and then apologized to everybody, including me, then maybe I'd change my mind. But like, Israel has restarted their genocide. You have the Nelk boys coming on the show to promote. You're promoting pro-Trump people left and right. You're trying to help the targeting of Palestinian advocates all over the country. People are being kidnapped by ICE, who are lawful permanent residents, to be deported. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? By the way, chat, if you enjoy the stream, please consider supporting it by subscribing. And we have a hype trade going on right now. It's the only way we could survive here. We got 3 seconds left. Fuck. Damn. Oh, $8! Oh my God, saved my bucks! Tier 1 for 22 months with 1 second left. Saved the fucking hype trade. Chat, the only way we could survive is if you support it. We don't have ads anymore on this stream. Not for nothing, but at times AB corrects a narrative when Ethan goes too hard for Israel, makes for some pushback in a large progressive audience. Does that count? No. No, it doesn't. Because when he's actually helping Ethan. Don't you understand that? When he prevents Ethan from saying something wholly wrong, he's actually protecting Ethan. Because if Ethan was out there saying lies and shit that was easily debunkable, it would make the show even more discreditable. He's protecting H3 to protect himself. And he lets a lot of other shit go. So the fact that he occasionally corrects one or two things, it doesn't matter. It's what side are you on? Are you on the side of the Palestinian people? Are you on the side of the people that are fighting for Palestinian liberation? Or are you on the side of the pro-genocide Zionists? And he's firmly on their side. Whether he likes that or not, that's the truth.
You're believing that Israel is targeting babies intentionally, which is not correct. There should be a death sentence to be killed off in war if you hold a gun, even if you are a 16-year-old and under UN, whatever it is called, a child, a 17-year-old who holds a grenade.
I'm going to play golf in Gaza, whether you like it or not.
If you're believing that Israel is targeting
Well, he is streaming on Twitch. This AB, no one watches him. I mean, why would anybody watch him now? Like, why would we watch him? Ethan Klein fans? There's no Ethan Klein fans that like legitimately are gonna come on Twitch. It's a dead fucking end. Ethan Klein's like, you know, streams get 100 viewers. Like, of course not. It's not gonna work. Ow.
You were I think he's referring to last
He said it as well. They both made this same idiotic talking point. That's incredible.
time. You're saying you would even pay for it to prove that he's lying. You pay for his trip.
I don't think. Yeah.
Ken, thank you for the 5 gifted. Berkeley Power Slippers, thanks for the 10. Black Kusuku, thank you for the 5. Chief Supreme, thanks for the tier 2. Thank you everybody. No Such Tim for the 5. Let's see here. I'm thanking all the group gifties. My Ruby Pearl, DUJ21, thank you for the 5. And if I missed you, I really do appreciate you. Empty episode 0 rated, and I didn't thank them. Thank you, episode 0, for the raid.
Yeah, I would. First of all, I would. I don't
in
think
relation to Muda, because that's what he said.
Muda said that, yeah. But anyway, the money doesn't
remember.
matter. Obviously, he's fucking rich. He could afford to go there if he wanted. But the point is, he's like, they couldn't offer me security assurances, so I'm not going. It's like,
everyone here is just missing the forest for the fucking trees. You couldn't get in the first place. You couldn't get into Israel, which is a prerequisite for getting into the West Bank or Gaza. And then they certainly wouldn't fucking let you into either of those places. You wouldn't even get past the first hurdle. No one is even fucking bringing that up. But obviously, if he somehow got into Gaza, yes, he would get fucking bombed and killed by Israel. Israel does precision strikes on journalists fucking constantly, which they deny here as well. They do precision strikes on Palestinians who send mean things in English about Israel on social media as well. They literally target them in their house. Like, I think in this, they talk about, like, Israel doesn't do that to journalists.
Made a joke about it.
Lots of
like, I've talked to Palestinian journalists, and they've like wanted me to come out.
Really? Wow. Oh my God.
And
that's your reaction to that?
I mean,
obviously they want people to come, but they can't.
Security assurances against Israel, obviously.
Well, bro, it's not like Israel
that is worried.
Look, it's not like Israel's going to do a precision strike on Hassan. They don't fucking.
Yeah,
but it is dangerous. It's a war zone.
Israel does precision strikes on people, like, for basically anything. Israel, for example, they have a population registry. They know where everyone lives, or at least where they lived before they destroyed their house. They did a precision strike on the family home, for example, of Refat Al-Arir, who was a Palestinian poet slash basically guy who spammed about how Israel is bad on social media during the genocide. They knew where he lived. They targeted his house because he was posting tweets about Gaza, about what was happening in Gaza from Gaza. And he was literally deliberately targeted in his house. This is not one occurrence. They precisely target journalists. Gaza is like so impossibly dangerous for journalists compared to anywhere else in the world that like more journalists have been killed there than have been killed in like 20 years of the Mexican drug war. It is completely unprecedented. They are very specifically targeted for their journalism. This is also not counting things like social media influencers, many of whom have been precisely targeted in their family homes. They are tracked, they are killed, they are specifically killed when their family is there with them. To say that like they wouldn't target a foreigner, Israel does very much target anyone in Gaza who they think they can reasonably kill. Because they never face any consequences for that, and they know it. They would 100% assassinate like a foreign anti-Israel journalist if they thought they could get away with it. And Gaza is the one.
And they just did. They just killed a friend of Hassan's. Like a 21-year-old guy who had nothing to do with Hamas was just murdered by Israel.
Where they're most likely to get away with it.
Like, I agree, it's dangerous.
It's a war zone.
It's dangerous because it's a war zone, says Hila Klein, the Raider Ramallah terrorist war criminal.
But what?
He was
It's just a war zone, not because they target journalists, not because they massacre children.
Anti-Semite of the year, they may.
Nah,
I don't think you guys understand Israel. It doesn't work like that.
Israel doesn't work like that. Why not? Because the fucking
Israeli strike on Rafat al-Arir apparently deliberate. This is from Euromed Monitor, a European human rights organization. The Israeli airstrike that killed Professor Rafat was apparently deliberate. The apartment where Rafat and his family were sheltered was surgically bombed out of the entire building where it's located. This came after weeks of death threats that Rafat received online and by phone from Israeli accounts. We call for an immediate investigation to his apparently deliberate and targeted killing of a prominent academic, writer, poet, and activist. Rafat was killed in his sister's home, along with his brother, one of his children, his sister, and 3 of her children, and a neighbor. His brother's wife and 2 other children were wounded. The airstrike surgically targeted the apartment on the 2nd floor where Rafat was in a 3-story building, and not the entire building. Included the apartment was the target and not possible collateral damage. A close friend of Rafat's told Euromed Monitor that he received an anonymous phone call from someone who identified himself as an Israeli officer and threatened Rafat, and that they precisely knew the school where he was located, and were about to get his location with the advancement of Israeli ground troops. But the credibility of the threat itself is unclear. It contributed to prompting Rafat to move back to his sister's apartment, believing it was more concealed than the open and overcrowded school where it would have been difficult to hide. In 2014, Israel bombed Rafat's home and killed over 30 of his and his wife's families. I mean, like, this is just the typical, you know, this is the shit. Again, Hila Klein doesn't consider Palestinians to be a human being. So she just blatantly lies about, oh, yeah, they don't do that, when they provably do.
Genocidal Zionist terrorists said so. Well, that's a good source. I believe that.
It's not. But regardless, I agree it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous in a war zone.
It's just dangerous in a war zone. I mean, statistically, that is proven wrong, okay? Let's look, for example, how many journalists died in the entire Iraq war? 282 journalists have been killed in Iraq in general in 20 years. In Gaza, 150 journalists were killed in less than a year. This is like by far the deadliest period of, and this is only journalists again. It doesn't count people like Rafat al-Arif. It doesn't count like the social media influencers who they've also targeted. It doesn't count the foreign aid workers who they've also targeted, obviously before they can get out and talk about what they saw. So there are many reasons why someone cannot simply go to Gaza, even if they did want to go there, even if they did want to take the immense risk of doing so. Reason 1, Israel doesn't fucking let you into Israel in the first place, and in order to get into Gaza or the West Bank, you have to go through Israel because Israel occupies Gaza and the West Bank. They're completely under Israeli control. Obviously. What else? If you somehow did manage to get into Gaza, you would be fucking killed. More than likely, you would just be fucking killed. Obviously, Israel carpet bombs the entire place. They're trying to eliminate the Palestinian people of Gaza. So yeah, you fucking go there, you probably get killed. Telling fucking someone to go to Gaza is a death threat. It's like saying get in the oven. And these guys are just saying it openly. But again, that's besides the point, because the idea that you could even somehow get into Israel, let alone Gaza, is in the first place impossibly naive, because Israel declines entry for political reasons to anyone who is even mildly known. Slightly known. Like if you have 500 fucking followers on an anti-Zionist TikTok, you're not getting into Israel. Let alone fucking Hassan. These people are disgusting and they need to be banned from YouTube immediately.
Okay, Gweek Hypers. Let me see this guy. What is his name? Gweek Hypers? Okay, this guy is a genocidal Zionist, has shown up. How is telling him to go to Gaza hypocritical? Anti-Semitic leftists tell me go back to Poland for being Jewish all the time. You're an Israeli? Well, personally, I don't think that Israelis should be forced to return to the countries that they left, right? I think they should have the right. I think they should have the right to return if they were forced out of those countries, but I don't think they should be forced to return. However, they don't get to keep the land and homes that they stole from other people. Fair deal? This guy is at least 3 times more anti-Semitic than the average neo. Oh, wow, guys. I guess the argument is, look at the level of argumentation these people do. I called you anti-Semitic. I win. BadEmpanada advocates for existing anti-Semites that materially hurt Jews like Hamas and Rashida Tlaib. Meanwhile, the Nazi military doesn't exist anymore. They are more anti-Semitic now. And I think this is actually, thank you for revealing the truth, which is you don't give a shit about Nazis. You don't care about Nazism. You don't really care about anti-Semitism. You're more focused on your genocidal apartheid state. So if allying yourself with Germany helps your genocidal apartheid state do ethnic cleansing, then you'll do it because you don't care about the millions of people that were killed in the Holocaust. So I don't want to hear you ever complain about the Holocaust as an excuse to do your crimes anymore because you just admitted you don't care. How is he betraying his people by supporting the IDF? That would be supporting his people. The racism drips. Okay, whatever. Jew-hating Hamas Nazi. Why are you saying Nazi? You said you didn't care. You just said you didn't care. Israel is a decolonization movement, and leftists only don't support it because they are vile Jew haters. Zionism is an ethno-cultural nationalist movement that emerged in Europe in the late 19th century and aimed to establish a national home for the Jewish people pursued through the colonization of Palestine. Wait, you colonized to decolonize, and it came from Europe. Well, Theodore Herzl must have been a very, very, very observant Jew. Devoted to the propagation of the Jewish German liberal assimilationist doctrine. I achieved a freer attitude toward anti-Semitism. I believe I recognize the emptiness and futility of trying to combat anti-Semitism. Yeah. Leftists have become bigger existential threats to Jews than literal Nazis. You are the new Nazis. Guys, you're an existential threat when you say when Israel does not deserve my tax dollars. I say Israel doesn't deserve my tax dollars. I guess that makes me an existential threat. All I could say is, and by the way, I'm not even going to ban you. I'm just going to tell you something that's very funny. Israel's days are numbered. Israel's days are numbered. It doesn't matter what you do. Eventually, America will just tire of giving Israel money, just like we did to the South Vietnamese, just like we've done when we abandoned Ukraine, just like when we abandoned the Kurds. Eventually, Israel's going to get abandoned too. You know it. I know it.